The vampire and lycan clans had been at war for centuries before I was born.
Vampires and werewolves, two of the really iconic shape-shifting semi-human mystical creatures, and both of them have played a profound role in the mystical magical universe portrayed in movies. There's, of course, something really addictive about witnessing the rivalry between vampires and werewolves unfold. Be it witnessing the love triangle of Bella Swan, Edward Cullen, and Jacob Black, or exploring the numinous world of Van Helsing. This legendary rivalry has been the talk of Dusk and Dawn. Did you get the pun? Then that's a sign this video is made specifically for you. Do you miss the kind of magic the 2000s had? Especially when it comes to bringing to the plate the action horror movies? If yes, then you're definitely on the right way. Think about it. Blade sequels, Resident Evil, all that. The service was so irresistible, it made us want more of it. We were just ravenous for these bloody thrills. And definitely the Twilight Saga and Dusk and Dawn were not the only ones that boasted a humongous fanbase.
A human that was turned to neither vampire nor lycan.
I don't think anyone must be unfamiliar with another iconic saga, the Underworld. Everyone knows about it. It was a strange beast indeed compared to all the other sagas. There was romance, there was revenge, there was bloodthirst, there was lust for power, and if those are not enough, there was gothic thrill too. All together. Of course, the glossy cinematography and comically exaggerated outfits that we got to see in the Underworld franchise is nothing new. And what's funny is that even if these traits make the installments look a bit over the top, it doesn't reduce the surrealism that we get to sense from the visuals of this movie, which is definitely worth noting. 5 installments of stylish action sequences, an unending rivalry between vampires and the werewolves, and a gothic setting of a river of bloodbath. That's how the mystical universe of the Underworld should be described whenever a discussion is sparked about this super amazing franchise, about vampires and other such mystical creatures whose presence blows your mind. This video is going to be a very unique one, by the way, since we're going to be discussing the Untold hidden story, which further expands the already so extensive lore of the Underworld series. But before we proceed with the same, we need to talk a little bit about the characters and the chronological timeline of the franchise, since in this video, we're going to talk about the 2011 animated film based in the world of the Underworld, Endless War, a spin-off that introduces us to the pages of the Book of the Underworld that were left untouched. If you're even a bit familiar with the world of the Underworld, I don't think that you're oblivious to the fact that every installment in this franchise offers scattered timelines that span centuries. For instance, in the 5th century, Alexander Corvinus was born as the first immortal, and at the beginning of the 13th century, the evil Victor gains control of the Underworld. However, the issue arises in the fact that the timelines are scattered in a very messy fashion, which makes it difficult for audiences to grasp. The entire history behind their rivalry is, however, explored in other videos present on this channel, so don't forget to check those out. Now that we're done with discussing a bit about what the Underworld actually is, we can proceed with talking about the 2011 animated movie. What exactly is this miniseries? What is actually the purpose? And what exactly does its plot want to convey to the audience about this gothic world of vampires and werewolves? The answer's simple. Think about how Zootopia Plus explored what happened behind the scenes, while Nicholas Wilde and Judy Hopps were busy uncovering a conspiracy involving the sudden disappearance of predators in the fictional city of Zootopia. The same thing is done by Underworld Endless War. However, there's a difference. Zootopia Plus explored the stories of the minor characters from the original movie, while Underworld Endless War lays its emphasis on the key characters as well. Do you remember the 2022 animated short film based on the Blade Runner world, Blade Runner Blackout 2022? It takes place 3 years after the events of the original movie. Shinichiro Watanabe's take on the cyberpunk world of Blade Runner was only 15 minutes long. Underworld Endless War, however, is 17 minutes long. The similarity lies in the fact that both of them are the direct continuation of the first installment of two really beloved franchises. Endless War is, by the way, an anthology of 3 anime stories revolving around the key characters of the franchise's further installments, Selene, and the 3 lycan brothers she hunts down, who are in disguise as the Lords and living in the Paris mansion. All 3 stories are written by Lynn Wiseman, the director of the original movie, along with Kevin Grievous and Danny McBride. Each of these 3 stories is a little over 5 minutes long and takes place in 3 periods, 1890, 1967, and 2012 respectively. Now, if we explore these 3 stories, just exploring the summations is definitely not enough. We have to explore the hidden stories that each story explores. Brace yourself for the adventure, and please fasten your seatbelts, because we're going back in time. A deep dive into who lycans and vampires are. Before we travel back in time, it's necessary to have an idea about who are lycans, who are vampires, why are they in a constant state of war, who are death dealers exactly. Talking about the lycans, they are the second breed of werewolves, whose origin was birthed in the 13th century. They have descended from William Corvinus' bloodline. For those who don't know William Corvinus, he was the son of Alex Corvinus, the patriarch of the Corvinus clan, who got bitten by a rabid wolf, due to which he was mutated into the first werewolf from their generation, while his twin brother Marcus got bitten by a bat and turned into a vampire. William's bloodline produced lycans, while Marcus's bloodline produced vampires, and both are in a constant state of war due to hunger for power and a long history of slavery, oppression, and betrayal. The prologue of the first chapter of the animated film says it all. Long ago, the vampires ruled over the lycans, using them as bodyguards and slaves, which prompted the lycans to be rebellious. I forgot to mention the vampires, didn't I? Were there a subspecies of immortals, granted with abilities like regeneration, enhanced resilience, flying, and etc. But they have this weakness, sunlight. That's why they have an aversion to it, because the sun disintegrates their bodies. Moreover, their intense dependence on the consumption of human blood for survival is also their major weakness. And of course, they have fangs and they hiss. Victor, the key antagonist of the Underworld, is associated with the vampires. His power for hunger is what shapes the trajectory of the plot of Underworld: Rise of the Lycan. Now, what are the Death Dealers? They are the vampires' assassins who are assembled by Victor to track down, hunt, and eliminate the Lycans. Selene, who's one of the key protagonists of the franchise, is a Death Dealer, in fact the most powerful one. If we look at the context of the animated miniseries, she is a newly hired Death Dealer who is tasked to kill the 3 Lycan brothers and helps the power-hungry regent from the clan of vampires, Craven, secure the mansion. In the original live-action version of Underworld, Kate Beckinsale plays Selene, while in this animated film, the character is voiced by Laura Harris. Do you love Selene too, or is someone else your favorite character? Let me know by answering this question in the comments below. So now that we're familiar with the necessary details, we can jump right into the intended topic. Oh wait, we're already close to the destination. 1890. We're in the late 1800s now? Yeah, you're right. We're in the late 1800s. Don't panic. We're far away from these bloodthirsty villains, but at least we can see the vampire death dealer Selene. She's stalking a lycan, and he's none other than Darius, the eldest among the 3 Lycan brothers she's been tasked to eliminate. The reason behind her stalking him is solely this. Their home, a big mansion, the Grand Paris Mansion. The power-hungry regent, Craven, is desperate for it, and hence has sent Selene to investigate the reports and take down the trio of brothers, Darius, Vregus, and Crandrel, who have established the mansion as a Lycan den. During the day, the Lycan brothers pose as humans, while, during the night, they terrorize the surrounding area as werewolves. The sole reason why Craven wants this mansion is that the surrounding area is filled with humans, which will fulfill the survival needs of the vampires, as they rely on the consumption of human blood. By saying,
"They are Lycan. They are dead."
They're Lycan, they're dead. Selene already foretells how the animated film will end. So yes, while Selene tries to reach the estate secretly via the sewers, Darius senses the presence of a vampire in Paris, and then reaches the estate faster by his chariot. He attempts to convince his younger brothers, Vregus and Crandrel, who are enjoying the night with 2 hookers, to leave the mansion. Vregus and Crandrel, however, insist that Selene should be killed. Their cunningly crafted animated voice tones are enough to make it clear that they have pretty villainous intentions. Together, all three brothers attempted to ambush Selene down in the sewers, but Selene proves to be more powerful and intelligent. She defeats Darius by drawing a pair of swords into his shoulder and then shooting him frequently, while the other two brothers flee. Darius says his last words before he's killed by Selene, claiming that his other two brothers will avenge his death. Selene, however, appears unfazed by his word. The mansion is secured by the vampires, while the other two brothers vow vengeance as they flee via rowboat. 1967, The Bloodbath. Okay, you're now comfortable, given that you got through this very intense journey? Good. Now we're in the 1960s, 70 years after the incident. While Victor is still slumbering, Craven has gained control of the Paris mansion and established it as his vampire coven, while the Death Dealers continue to track down and eliminate the lycans across the world. Unfortunately, the vampires are dismayed by the fact that Craven has seized more authority from Victor. The chaos between the vampires and the werewolves has still not faded. Plus, Craven is, as always, power hungry. At the same time, the mansion is also set for a ceremony involving Lord Clovis that is to be held that night. In the meantime, Selene is still in pursuit of the other two Lycan brothers, who are rumored to have returned back to Paris, since they have still not moved on from their brother's brutal death at the hands of Selene. Hence, they await Selene's return, plotting to slaughter all the vampires, including her. Craven is still in touch with Selene. He talks to her on the telephone, collecting information about how far her objective has been fulfilled. He informs her of Lord Clovis's message that he awaits her presence in the ceremony, while Selene says that she's caught the scent of the other two Lycan brothers and will hunt them. Meanwhile, the Lycan brothers are hiding in a cave and have also kept some incense sticks near them so that their scent is not tracked by Selene. We are then provided a glimpse of the ongoing ceremony, where humans are being sacrificed for the pleasure of the soul of Marcus, the patriarch of the clan of vampires. In the midst of the ceremony, the Lycan brothers throw a grenade-like object, which emits ultraviolet radiation and then disintegrates all the vampires involved in the ceremony. They then crash the ceremony by assuming the form of werewolves and decapitate the chief guest, Lord Clovis. But then arrives Selene, the Death Dealer, with her stylish guns, a kind of aura farming that should be written in books. The brothers try to retreat to the shadows, then Vergus knocks down Selene by throwing her against the wall. But, like I said, Selene is super strong. She gets back up as if nothing happened, and then brilliantly charges at Vergus and kills him by drawing her sword into the back of his skull, literally piercing his nose. This, of course, enrages the third brother, who pauses for a moment to snarl and growl, and then charges at her. However, Selene severs his left arm by tossing her shuriken. The second story thus ends with the last remaining Lycan brother running away from the estate, growling for vengeance like a coward. And still then, Selene continues to aura farm. "Run, coward, run. Time is my ally," she says confidently, awaiting his return. 2012, The Manhunt. Now, we're back to the 21st century, dear friends, and this story takes place right after the events of Underworld and Underworld Evolution. The prologue of the last chapter gives a further insight into what happened 45 years after the incident. Selene discovers that it was not the Lycans, but Victor himself who had killed her parents, and hence is hurt by his deception. However, Michael Corvin continues to be her only ray of hope. He's a Lycan vampire hybrid who is also Selene's lover. Selene has again returned to Paris. Hats off to her dedication. Of course, her boyfriend, Michael Corvin. Both are in pursuit of the last remaining brother, Crandrel, who had eluded her a century ago. But things have been different now, since the humans have also known about the unending war between the Lycans and the vampires and have grown pretty concerned about it. There are billboards and posters warning the humans against the presence of the vampires and werewolves. So, the human police agencies are also after the immortals. They've been using guns that emit ultraviolet radiation, through which they detect vampires in disguise as humans and then eliminate them. Their dedication behind this is visibly immense, even if their own personal liberty is at stake for it. So, Selene is in constant hiding so that she stays undetected by the cops. Now that it's the 21st century, there's also advanced technology available, so that brings much more ease to the vampires' hands to track their prey. Crandrel is at the Toddy Hotel, spending the night with a woman, and he's tracked by the CCTV camera, since he's also wounding the woman with his nails. Plus, his left hand is absent too. Selene sends the information to Michael, and then both infiltrate the hotel. While Celine deals with the cops, Michael enters the hotel and faces attack from Crandrill's harem, a group of naked French female lycan assassins who are attached to Crandrill because of his physical relations with them. The one whom he was spending the night with is also part of the harem, and it's confirmed through how he tells her to kill Celine's precious hybrid before killing her. Michael, however, transforms himself, and even when half of the female lycans pin him against the wall, he successfully knocks them down before attacking Crandrill. Even when Crandrill tries to strangle him, he still succeeds and knocks him out the window, putting the rest of the assignment in the hands of his lover. The episode ends with a graceful note in favor of the vampires. Crandrill is killed by Celine once and for all. However, this is not the end at all, as Celine admits in a monologue. This never ends. And by this, she refers to the war between the vampires and the lycans. This is how this animated miniseries then paves the way for further installments of the Underworld series. Voila! We're back to 2026, and I hope you enjoyed this time travel with me. If you love the Underworld series, make sure to like this video and share this video with your friends. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon to never miss any updates. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!